Hey guys, my name is Sierra. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm currently a first year nursing student and I am in my second term or quarter or semester-ish of nursing school. Today is Monday, January 4th, my first day of school for the term. I thought that I would film a week in my life as a nursing student for my first week of my second term of school. Today is Monday, I'm just working. Tomorrow I have clinical all day and this is our first time actually being at the hospital, so that's exciting. And then Wednesday I'm working and Thursday and Friday I have class. So it should be a pretty busy week, especially with this term. From what I've heard from fellow students, this is the hardest term in my nursing program just because we're taking 3 classes at once in 10 weeks. We have chronic, pathophysiology, pharmacology, and then we have clinical, which feels like a whole other class in itself. So it's gonna be a busy term, especially with last term being just 1 class and it still felt like a lot. I'm ready to get started with the year, honestly, and I'm ready to get back into school. So I'm so excited to take you guys along with me for the week. Should be a good week. Happy New Year's to everybody and anybody that's in school. Good luck to you. Don't procrastinate. That is my goal for this term because I don't think that procrastination is an option. So I'm gonna take you guys along with me this week. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so for this first term of school, like I said before, I have 3 classes in clinical. 3 of my classes, they're all going to be online. So I just got on my computer and I just wrote some stuff in my calendar here. And obviously the classes haven't started yet. They start Thursday and Friday. So what I'm gonna do to try to stay on top of things is I have the dividers to balance out my weeks for this term. And what I did is I went through the classes online and I wrote my week 1 assignments for each class. So this is pharmacology, and then I'm just going to check them off as I do it. This is chronic, and then I have pathophysiology. This is something that I'm just going to do for every single week so I can just remember all the assignments and even just little things that need to be done so I can stay on top of things, because it feels very chaotic with it all being online right now. It's a lot of stuff because these classes are not normally online. I'll probably have a better idea of everything when I actually have my first day of the classes. But the tricky thing is that I already have a quiz before one of my classes even starts. So gotta be on top of this stuff, you know? So tonight I'm just gonna do some reading assignments and then take care of a couple things that I need to take care of before I have clinical tomorrow, because lucky for us, we are having clinical this term in person. We are still able to go to the hospital and we are still able to attend school. We are obviously performing all proper PPE. Our clinical groups are smaller, our class is divided. I'm so grateful and lucky that we are able to do it in person. My God, so happy about that. Later tonight, I'm probably gonna print off a bunch of papers. I have the syllabuses, the syllabus for each course, and then our course objectives that we have to write on for each course, and just some other little things. And yeah, so I'll see you guys later. And now I'm heading home. This was my first clinical of the term. It was really awesome. It was a really good day. So our day started off, my specific clinical group, we met at the hospital that we're going to be doing our clinical rotations at, and we went over Meditech training. I'm gonna pass this semi. We went over some training, basically the computer system that we'll be using as student nurses, and it was, to be completely honest, very overwhelming. It was very overwhelming. I've had multiple jobs as a server, as a barista, where you have to learn like the different computer systems for the work environment, and oh my gosh, this was like nothing compared to that. This was just so overwhelming. There's so much to learn. I know it's just gonna take time and getting accustomed to it and familiarizing yourself with it, but definitely overwhelming because I've already been overwhelmed with the workload that I have been aware of for this week, and so that much closer to being at the hospital and working with real patients and getting the hands-on experience that I've been like craving. I don't know, it's definitely feeling very, very real right now. So yeah, we did that training. There's still a lot more we need to do, but it was basically just going over how to chart certain things, especially when we're going into a room and performing like a head-to-toe assessment on a patient. After that, we went back to my campus for a clinical, and we had different stations, different rotations that we were doing, and today was pretty focused on our head-to-toe assessment, just honing in on our head-to-toe assessment and our ability to do it in a timely manner and how to kind of multitask. So while you are maybe palpating somebody for tenderness, you could also simultaneously be asking them questions that could tell you about their cognitiveness and see how oriented they are. So we went over that, and then we really jumped into injections. We briefly talked about injections and experimented with syringes last term, but this was kind of, today was like all about injections. And we were learning intramuscular injections, subcutaneous injections. We were going over insulin and how it's so important to obviously not get an insulin syringe mixed up with another syringe by units and milliliters, very different measurement. I'm just kind of freaking out, like it's all starting to feel so extremely real. But yeah, it was a really good day. I'm hoping that we might get an opportunity later this term to administer injections, so that would be awesome. It's amazing how different today, the first day of my second term of clinical, feels than my first day of clinical on my first term, just because it's just so much more comfortable. You're comfortable with the people that you're with. You're all not afraid to look silly with one another because you're all learning together, and it's just so exciting. My clinical groups instructor was actually out today, and so we got like a substitute clinical instructor, but it ended up being our pathophysiology teacher. So it's really awesome to be able to talk to her and gain some insight about the class and some advice from her and just kind of get to know her more. She seems like an awesome instructor. She's very, very knowledgeable. For the brief period that we had her, I feel like I learned a lot from her, so that was a really good experience. I'm just happy. I'm heading home. I printed off a lot of paperwork yesterday, so my course syllabus for each class, and I'm just trying to stay organized and on top of all the assignments because there's a lot. And there's a lot of reading I need to do. There's a lot that I need to do. I'm going to head home, probably do a little bit of reading tonight. Oh my gosh. This is why I don't like driving. Oh my god. Okay. I gotta stop doing this because I clearly don't know how to multitask. Anyways, I will either see you guys later tonight or I will see you in the morning tomorrow. Hope you're having a good day so far, or evening or morning or whatever time it is wherever you are watching this. See you guys soon. Bye. Good morning, you guys. It is Thursday morning around 8:30 a.m. I have my first class this morning for this term. My first class is going to be chronic. It starts at 9 and it ends at noon. I'm excited to just get it started with because I know we all have so many questions just about this term and about the syllabus and assignments, and I'm ready to get those questions answered and get some things figured out. Cruzy, hi. Hi, Cruzy. So it should be very informative. This is a new teacher that I did not have last term, but I've heard good things about. One thing that is truly nice about the whole online class, don't get me wrong, I would obviously love to have class in person. There's just something different about like interactiveness and being there. However, I can appreciate online class because I can multitask while I'm in class. I can fold laundry and listen to the lecture. I can do dishes and listen to the lecture. It's just extra productive, if that makes sense. Does anybody else do that? I cannot be the only one. I know I'm not the only one because I've talked about it with people in my class, but it is nice to have it online and to be able to do some minuscule things that they're thoughtless, so you're still able to focus on the class itself. So I am going to finish my tea and then I will hop into class. Oh, I have this going on here. Is this becoming like a very popular thing where people put fireplaces on their TV if they don't have an actual fireplace? I don't know, but it definitely sets the mood in the room. Like I said, today I have chronic. I have some reading assignments that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys my syllabus before the class gets started, just to see what we're doing, but we are hitting the ground running. Like, we already have a bunch of assignments and a lot to do this first week. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. All right, so here's my course syllabus for chronic. Apparently it is a, what is it? 6 credit class. I didn't even know that a class could be 6 credits. Actually, I learned that last term with health promotions, but my gosh, I'm a little bit nervous. One thing that he said in the syllabus, if you've read this far before the term started, send me an email and I will give you 5 extra credit bonus points. And that was really awesome. Oh, it's telling us how the assignments are supposed to be saved. Everything is going to be in APA format. Fun, fun, fun. And this is the good stuff where I need to figure out like the points for the class and how many points you can get to get an A. Oh my gosh. Okay, I didn't realize this. 100 points total for winter quarter. I'm confused. That freaks me out. When a class has a less amount of points, it's harder to get a better grade because you have less opportunity. Oh, no, no, no. Testing 100 points, quizzes and everything, 190 points. Okay, I was wrong. Sorry. Probably don't really care to see any more of this, so I'm going to get started with class. So I just finished up with my chronic class and then hopped in the shower and I'm about to go run some errands. But I just want to talk to you guys about what we went through. I definitely feel a lot more confident in this class now, or I don't know if that's the right word, but my stress is alleviated a bit. Just being able to talk to the instructor and clarify questions and assignments and the course load and all of that. He seems like a really great instructor, and that he is very aware of when our other instructors are assigning our midterms and our finals and trying to coordinate to the best of his ability to not do those around the same time, just so we're not freaking out about 3 finals at once, but we'll see what happens. Basically, we kind of just went over the class today, asked a lot of questions, and went in a little bit about the difference between chronic and acute illnesses. We were supposed to go over some case studies that we were told to read beforehand, but we didn't get to that. We ran out of time. As far as this class and my assignments for this week, it's not too crazy yet. We have a discussion board and each clinical group is assigned a certain illness, and this will be the illness that you have for the remainder of this term of school. And we will be doing posts and answering questions on the discussion board and sharing articles associated with evidence-based practice on our illness or our diagnosis. We have cirrhosis, something, what is it? I have it written down. We got diagnosed severe cirrhosis of the liver. So I'm gonna have to do some research on that. We do 2 posts in the discussion based on our diagnosis, and then we respond to 2 posts. And then we also need to share an article or a link or some sort of resource of evidence-based practice based on what we're learning about this diagnosis. So that's really our only assignment. All else we really have is we have to read 3 different chapters in books, right? 3 different chapters in books. And so what I did here, I'll show you. This is one of the books, it's Med Surg Nursing. The chapter we have to read is on chronic illness. So I'm just gonna bookmark that so I have it. And I'm probably gonna keep it like that until the midterm or the final is over, and then I'll remove them, but just so I can keep track of what really needs to be read for this term. And then this is Concepts for Nursing Practice. I have chronic, well, I wrote chronic because that's the class. This chapter is self-management. And then there was one more chapter in Fundamentals of Nursing, but I have the 9th edition and I think the chapter's in the 10th edition. So I'm waiting on
Yeah, I was looking for it, but I'm waiting on somebody in my clinical group to send me over that chapter, and then I'll probably just print it off. I am starting on my study guide for my midterm now for this class. As I'm reading and going, I'm gonna start documenting things just to stay on top of it and not be freaking out when it comes, because I don't know, it doesn't seem crazy right now, but there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be due soon. Like, we have something in this course called remediation. So based on our average last term, in fundamentals of nursing, our average of our 2 test scores, so our midterm and our final. So I got a 90 and an 84. My average is an 87. Based on that, for my final, I got an A in the class, but my average for the test was an 87, so that's B. Based on that, I have to do a certain amount of remediation hours, and so we have like varying things that we can do, but I think a lot of us are just gonna practice NCLEX style questions, and we just prove that to the instructor. I think I have to do 15 hours of that this term, and then I also have my 10 hours of community service that I have to do. And over winter break, I went to the American Red Cross and donated platelets and plasma again. So I got 3 hours knocked out, so I still have 7 hours I have to worry about. And then also part of this class, there's just a lot. We have course objectives. So you have course objectives for each class, objectives that you're going to be learning in this class. And at the end of the class, we have to fill out when we learn that course objective, like the day that we learned that and kind of like what we went over, just a couple sentences. And we have to do the course objectives for each course. So there will be 3, since I have 3 courses, and they're all due at the end of the term. And I just want to like start doing those as the term is going, instead of waiting until the end of the term when I've forgotten when I've learned all of this, and then also when I'm trying to study for finals, and then I have this silly assignment. So I'm gonna get started on that now too. I'm probably gonna do the discussion post tonight, right now, because I'm about to head out and run some errands, and then probably try to get my reading done by tonight, take some notes, and get all that done tonight, because tomorrow I have to worry about pharmacology and pathophysiology. Are you excited? Because I am. So yeah, I know that was a mouthful, but come with me while I run some errands, and then we will get started on some work tonight. Good morning. Come here. Good morning, you guys. It is Friday morning. I kind of left you hanging last night because it didn't really go as planned. I ended up going to bed at like 8:30. You would think that I would feel rejuvenated and refreshed, but I don't. Sometimes I feel like if I like sleep a little bit too long, I'm more tired than before. So anyways, but I know I needed it. It is Friday morning. Today I have a lot to get done because I don't want to be worrying about assignments this weekend. So I'm gonna try to get a lot of it done. This morning I have 2 classes. I have Pharmacology from 9 to 11:50, I believe, and then I have a lunch break from 11:50 to 1, and then I have Pathophysiology from 1 to 4. So it's gonna be a heavy day, but we will get through it together. Obviously this is the first class of the term, so I know a majority of our time will be spent going over the expectations for the class and the assignments, the syllabus, the points and all of that. So yeah, one thing interesting that I wanted to tell you guys that changed about my program this year, because it wasn't like this last year, which I'm sure would be so helpful for a lot of nursing students, but it's really awesome that they're doing this for us. Last year, well, I know this because my brother's in the program, but also because they mentioned this was how it was last year. You had to get an average of 75% in everything, so clinical and didactic, and this means your testing average, like for your exams and your midterms, had to be an average of 75%, and then your homework and quizzes average had to be an average of 75%. So therefore, if you didn't do good on an exam, you really had to work your butt off to do better on that next exam. It might totally just ruin your grade average, and it's really sad, honestly. For example, last term for me, I had one class that was health promotions, fundamentals of nursing, and I got a 90 on one of my exams, and then I got an 84 on the other, so my average was an 87. And then my homework and quiz average was, I'm not really sure, it was something in the 90s, so therefore I passed the class. If I would have maybe got a 60% on my midterm, and then I got like an 80% on my final, I wouldn't have passed the class because my average for my testing would have been a 70%. So it would have been below the threshold of 75%, and therefore I wouldn't have continued on with the program. So that's what my school used to do, and I know that's what a lot of schools do, just because I watch so many other videos on YouTube and I hear people talking about it. But something that my program has changed this year, is that your average, so the 75% is the passing or failing percentage. It averages out in both homework and assignments and your testing. So say you don't get above a 75% in the testing, but you get like a 95% in your homework assignments and quizzes, it's gonna average out those two, you can pass the class. So that's something that they changed this year. It's definitely put a lot of us at ease for the test. Hey. A lot of us at ease regarding the testing. I do think, you know, we really shouldn't be failing any of our exams or midterms, but sometimes when you have a new instructor and you just don't know how they have their midterms or their exams, you don't really know what to expect. And so once you take the first one by them, you have a better idea, therefore you can do better on the second one. But sometimes it's really hard to know how an instructor grades, and sometimes they really give you nothing. They'll give you a study guide and you think that's what's going to be on the exam, and holy moly, it's so far off. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm done rambling. I need to get to class now. I have class in 10 minutes, so I'm gonna set my computer up. And our first class of the day is going to be pharmacology. I'm very concerned, but it's going to work out, I hope. Pharmacology, baby. Class is about to start. I have my syllabus for pharmacology, the grading scale. This is going over the assignments. I really like this when the assignments and dates are kind of broken down so you know what to expect. My textbook for this class, so we had to read 2 chapters out of it. And then my teacher also sent out a message saying to have this book handy because I think we're going to be researching a couple different drugs. So if I understand correctly, we'll be assigned multiple drugs every week, and it's our job to memorize a lot of information. All right, hello again, you guys. I'm sorry my face is super red. I just got out of the shower. I'm currently on lunch, but our lunch got cut short because we had to meet with our clinical teacher. So I just took a shower really quickly and I'm gonna make some lunch, but I'm probably gonna make that while my other class starts. I have Pathophysiology next. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about what we did in pharmacology. I don't feel like super overwhelmed for the class. So as far as like the reading and stuff, we have 2 chapters of reading, and our assignments are broken up in every 2 weeks. So I marked the 2 chapters in my book. It's just the first and the second chapter, the nursing process and pharmacological principles. I printed off these pages. These were on my instructor's modules for us to print out. So these are the suffixes, and then classifications. And I had something else that was printed out. Apparently we're able to download a application on our phone once we go to the hospital that will have the resources all available on our phone. These are all the medications that we are expected to know by the end of this first term in pharmacology. So these are the most commonly used categories of drugs in the clinical setting. And this has so much information. It's multiple pages. I printed it front and back. But that will be very helpful in the class. As far as I know, our assignments are just, you know, really our reading, learning all of these medications and a lot of information regarding them. And then we have 3 different class projects that will need to be completed by the end of the term. Only 2 have to be turned in, but if we do 3, we will get extra credit. So why not do 3? I mean, at this point, of course, like that's not an option. And if they're handwritten, we get extra points for that because it's like a muscle memory. Apparently it helps you retain information when you write stuff down. That's what my teacher was saying, which I've heard multiple times before and I agree with. And I like handwriting things. So
Lots to do, but not super overwhelming. I felt a bit more overwhelmed with chronic yesterday, and I have a feeling I'm gonna feel the most overwhelmed with pathophysiology, which is starting in a couple of minutes. So let's get to that class. Hello. So my pathophysiology class is officially over. Wow. This is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot this term. I'm not gonna lie. Basically in the class, we kind of just went over our syllabus and expectations, assignments. Whoa, that's so creepy. What the heck? Hold on. What just happened? Okay, so like I said, we went over our expectations for the class, our assignments, just how we have actually 4 different tests in her class to help with our grades. She said she realized the more tests she can give as an instructor, the higher chance you have as a student to succeed. Therefore, if you don't do well on one exam, you have an opportunity to do better. So we actually have our first midterm on week 3, or I don't know, it's not a midterm, it's just our first exam on week 3. So we went over all that, and then we went over all these definitions. We broke out into breakout rooms, and this was our clinical group, so our group of 8. And we weren't allowed to use any resources, and there was a list of like approximately 50 words, and we each had to add information that we knew about the words. And I'm gonna show you the list because I printed it off, and then later on in class we all went over it, and she gave us the proper definition of the words after we chimed in and said what we thought they were. And somebody in my clinical group was kind enough to type everything she was saying, although our lectures are recorded. And we can go back and listen to them at any point. It was really nice. I'm gonna make flashcards with all these words, but I'll show them to you. Pathophysiology, pathology. Some of these are like, okay, they make sense, but it's like, you know what the word disease means, but then when you actually try to think of the actual terminology definition, it leaves you a little mind blown. Anyways, it's a lot. A&P comes back at you. I haven't taken A&P in like over a year and a half. And then there's more. So I'm gonna make some flashcards with those. This is our textbook that we're using, and this is a chapter that was required reading this week. So we're gonna have more reading assignments every week. As far as homework for this week, I have a quiz I need to do. The quiz is due at the end of the term, but it opens up this week. But I'm just gonna do it today because she says a lot of people forget about it, and you don't get a 0 until she physically goes in and puts a 0 in your grade. And then people will think they're getting an 80 in the class, and she puts the 0 in and it affects their grade. So I'm gonna go do that quiz because it's all the information that we learned about today, so it only makes sense. And there's 2 case studies that we're turning in. One, it looks relatively easy. It's just putting words with certain definitions, and the other one, a little bit more complex. I haven't really looked over it, but we discussed it. And what else for that class? I don't know. I thought I was organized. I thought I had it all organized, but I'm feeling like overwhelmed. This is a lot. And I got a text from my boss at work today asking me if I was interested in making more money and watching the kiddos this weekend. And it's like any other time in my life, of course I would have said yes, of course, but I actually feel like I rarely say no to work, but I actually literally feel like I can't do that. Like this weekend is gonna be dedicated to school, and it's just the first week. The first week is usually the calm before the storm. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not calm. It's already a storm. I'm thinking there's gonna be a hurricane. So I'm gonna get started on some of those assignments, and then I'll probably show you guys a little bit of that, and then either I'm ending the vlog today or tomorrow because this is the end of my first week of nursing school in my second term. Holy crap, all I gotta say is if you watched my prior videos and you watched me doing all this stuff with my life because I had all this time with that class, this is not the same. This is not gonna be the same, I already know it. This is going to be a lot more work, and you really gotta stay on top of it. It's sink or swim, baby. Something that our patho teacher said, which I really like and appreciate, I don't know, really stuck with me, is that, you know, this class in nursing school, it's all about your perspective on it, and we can either look at it like it's overwhelming and it's so much and how am I gonna do this, and kind of look at it in a negative light, not meaning to, but just feeling super stressed. or we can remember everything we did up until this point to get here. All the hard work, all the classes we took, how badly we wanted this, how lucky and fortunate and happy we were when we found out we got accepted into school, and how much this is going to pay off in the end. And it's all about learning, and it's an experience, and this is information that we're genuinely interested in, and we're going to be helping people. What she said really struck with me because I have been kind of feeling overwhelmed, and not necessarily negative, just like, what have I gotten myself into? And I'm just remembering, you know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, just the beginning of this whole process of deciding I wanted to apply to nursing school, and sitting in microbiology and anatomy, just like looking up nursing schools and reading the application process, and now it's finally here. And if you're in school, remember how lucky and blessed and fortunate you are. And if you're applying to school, if you're reapplying to school, if you're in your prerequisites, if you're contemplating it, just know that it'll all be worth it, and there will be highs and lows. In the end, it is worth it, I believe. Okay, I'm talking so much. I'm gonna get started on some assignments. I'm going to take that quiz. Hello, you guys. I am going to end the vlog here. It's Sunday morning. I am just finishing up some assignments that are due tomorrow-ish. And then I'm going to get prepared for the following week of school, because I know it's only going to get more difficult from here. I just got an email regarding clinical this Tuesday, and we are going to be getting our skills check off for administering injections, so subcutaneous injections and intramuscular injections. So that will be awesome, because I have a feeling, fingers crossed, that we will be administering those this term. That'll be awesome. But yeah, like I said, I'm just finishing up some assignments. I'll show you. This is for pathophysiology, but everything has to be in APA format. This was one that I already did. We have 2 case studies. Oh, and that's the grading rubric reattached to the end of it. I have a whole pile that I've been doing with definitions that some make sense, but some I literally had no idea. Got my textbook here. Ready to rock and roll and study for the day. I am signing off today. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this week. I hope it was interesting or helped you become more productive with your week, or insightful. This is really what my life looks like in nursing school. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of school. This is definitely more overwhelming than being a full-time student, at least for my prerequisites in college for nursing school. It's a lot. But I have a very good feeling about this term. I think it's going to be a great term or semester. It's going to be a great year. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate all the kind words and comments. I cannot wait to see where the rest of the year takes us. So I hope you guys are having a great rest of your morning or afternoon or evening. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye. She wants to say goodbye. Come here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.